Greetings, students. Welcome to my class. Students, you have been staying at your home due to the coronavirus lockdown. But now it's time for you all to rise and shine and focus on your studies. So let's start with the first chapter of your English literature book, Beehive. The chapter name is The Fun They Had, and it has been written by Isaac Asimov. Before we start this chapter, I would like to tell you about Isaac Asimov. Isaac Asimov was an American scientist and author. Isaac Asimov used to teach at the Boston University in United States of America. Whenever you will read something written by Isaac, you will find that it has a lot of science fiction in it. Obviously, obviously due to his background in science. Students, now let's start with the chapter. Before we start the chapter, we have to read a few points. The story we shall read is set in the future, when books and schools as we now know them will perhaps not exist. This statement is very much true, students, because everything it evolves with time. 100 years back, students used to study in the Gurukul, but now they study in modern schools. A question has been asked from us: how will children study then? The diagram below may give you some ideas. So please take a look at this diagram. Schools of the future. In this diagram, it is shown that how learning will happen in the schools of the future. The first method that is shown is learning through computers. This is something that we are doing even today, that we learn through computers. Whenever we want to know something that is unknown to us, we simply switch on the computer and look it up on the internet. Then, virtual classroom. So, what is a virtual classroom? Virtual classroom is a classroom which is actually not a classroom, but it gives a sense, or you can say it gives a feeling that it is like a classroom. Then, moving e-text. This technology is available even today, and this technology is used by people all around the world to read what they like an ipad or an Amazon Kindle. This technology is used very prominently. Next is robotic teacher. So you might have heard this news as well that sometime back a school in Bangalore appointed a teacher who was not a human being but actually a robot. So this technology is also in development, and maybe in future you might get to see a robotic teacher. In pairs, discuss three things that you like best about your school and three things about your school that you would like to change. Write them down. So, students, as you all know that you are at your home, so this you cannot do in pairs. But what you can do is you can take out your English practice notebook after this lecture is over, and then write the three things that you like best and three things that you would like to change. So you have to do this point after this video lecture is over. Have you ever read words on a television or computer screen? I'm quite sure that all of you must have done that. Even when you go to the school computer lab, you must be reading words on the computer screen. Can you imagine a time when all books will be on computers and there will be no books printed on paper? Would you like such books better? So, here you have been given with two questions. Again, you have to answer these questions in your English practice notebook after this video lecture is over. Now it's time for us to start with the chapter. Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. On the page headed 17th May 2157, she wrote, "Today, Tommy found a real book." Now please focus on the year 2157. It means after almost 130 years. This time is in the future. So today, Tommy found a real book. It is a very important news for her. It was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. So you can understand that in the time in which Margie and Tommy are, they are there are not books which are printed on paper. This is a thing of the past. They turned the pages which were yellow and crinkly. So after pages they become old, they obviously become yellow and crinkly. Crinkly means with folds or lines, or you might have seen that sometimes lines come out on paper when you use them in the normal usage that you do of your notebooks and books. So similarly, the pages because they were old and because they were old, so they were yellow and crinkly. And it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen. So words in future, so in future, how they were supposed to behave, they were supposed to move, but these words which were in the book, they were standing still. Please note here the use of an oxymoron, awfully funny. Oxymoron is a figure of speech. In this figure of speech, two words which are not supposed to be used together, they are used together. Like funny, say it was mighty funny, but don't say it was awfully funny. So here, what the writer has done, he has used oxymoron. Awfully funny means that it was very badly funny. Awfully, it means very bad, unpleasant, or pathetic. And then, when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it that it had when they read it the first time. So the words, they were present and they had not vanished. "Gee," said Tommy, "what a waste when you are through with the book. You just throw it away." Students, the expression "through with the book," it means that the book has been completed. You have completely read the book. So what Tommy is saying here, that you have to throw the book when you have done reading it. You just throw it away, I guess. Our television screen must have had a million books on it, and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away. So what Tommy's saying, that his television screen, it has a lot of books and it can take more and more books in it. And he is never going to throw it away, because if he will throw the book away, if he will throw the television screen away, he will not lose the possession of his books. "Same with mine," said Margie. She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. So here, see the word telebooks. So what is a telebook? A telebook is a book which is available on the television screen in the future era, in the time of Tommy and Margie. So because Margie was younger, she had not seen as many books as Tommy. Margie was 11 years old and Tommy, he was 13. She said, "Where did you find it?" In my house. He pointed without looking because he was busy reading. In the attic. So what was he doing? He was not looking and he was just busy reading. In the attic. So what is attic? You might have seen the houses in America. They have a triangular structure from the top, while all other rooms they are just normal because they have to accommodate that special structure. So they make a storeroom type of room which is called the attic. It cannot be used due to its strange shape, but rest it is just like other rooms only. What is it about? School. So the book it is about school. The school, the schools of today which you people are going in, which you people are experiencing. Margie was scornful. School? What's there to write about school? I hate school. So first of all, please see the word scornful. The meaning is given. Contemptuous means showing contempt, showing you think something is worthless. So when she was being scornful, she was implying that she used to think it was a waste. That was her point. And she has clearly expressed her feelings by saying, I hate school. Now let's read further. Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the county inspector. So now she was facing problems. Why? Because the mechanical teacher was giving her more and more tests, and because she was getting a lot of tests, she was unable to do well in them. See the word here sorrowfully. Sorrowfully means sadly. And she sent for the county inspector. County inspector means the repairman for the particular area. So, students, we will be doing our lecture up to here only. Okay. Now, I'll be giving you 5 minutes in which you have to attempt the questions which were there in the beginning of the chapter. So please take out your questions and so please take out your English practice notebooks and attempt these questions in the next 5 minutes.